Hello and welcome to another Demo Plus, and today I'm going to show you a few ideas with embossing powders. So the first one, I've got this little chipboard shape, so I'm going to separate it so I can do 3 different colours. And the first one I'm just going to do in a plain silver. So we're just going to ink the surface. Oops, didn't want to do that. Oh, for goodness sake, here we go. Which side? Oh yeah, that side. Good start to the day. So we've inked it up, and then I'm going to use silver powder over the top. And we'll pour all of that back. And then I want to heat it. With my heat gun. So hopefully you can see how that's changed. It's still a bit hot. oh, we're having fun here. And don't worry about that. I'm going to do a second layer anyway. You see it's still tacky, and it's actually very hot, so be careful when at this stage. I'm letting it cool down a little bit because then I'm going to re-ink it, and I do not want to get that molten stuff all in my ink pad. So I've let it cool down, and then I'm going to re-ink it. More powder. That all goes back, and then we'll heat it again. Let that cool down again. Now I could leave it like this, but I'm also going to show you creating a texture as well. Just wash my hands, they're all sticky, and I'm just going to get myself a stamp. I'm going to use a textural stamp for this, and I quite like this cracked, weathered look, because that will look maybe like a bit brick-like. So what we have to do is going to put a 3rd layer on. So now that's cool, we're adding another layer, and then more powder. And while I think about it, we add a little bit of ink to this so it will release easy. It doesn't have to be a colour, just has to be something that will make sure it does come out when you stamp it in. So let's put that to one side and put the powder away. Always put the powder away. You'd be surprised how messy it can get if you don't. Alright, we'll pop that down. We've got our stamp on standby because you have to work quite quickly. So let's heat it up. And then press that in. Oh, wonderful. There we go, we've got our brickwork. Well, that worked out well. Who'd have thought? So that's our outside done. Now I'm hoping the embossing powder doesn't prevent it from slipping back in. If so, I might need to sand it a little, but it looks okay so far. For the little heart, I'm going to use a pinky colour. I'll only do 2 layers, I think, of this because it's so small. Oop. Oh, so small it's disappeared. Oh, this is fun and games on a fiddly little thing. And I've taken some of it off in the process. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, let's see, it might even out. So hopefully can you see, this is one of our old ones, blue raspberry, and it's got a blue mica in it. So you've got a pinky with a blue chip tinge to it. Is it dry? Yeah, let's get the second layer on quickly before I lose it. Oh, oh dear. Good job it's on the paper. Probably you might want to choose something a bit bigger than this, but sometimes it's the little things that, the little detail, isn't it? Oh, you can have a right laugh at this now, aren't you? So, alright, powder goes back in. Maybe choose something bigger next time. Oh, not again. It's like buttered toast. It's going to guarantee land the wrong way. And we're done. Thank goodness for that. So, let it cool down just a second. But I can see I don't think there's too much on the outside, so I reckon I should be able to fit that straight in. Ooh. That's looking good. I don't want to touch it yet in case last time it took me ages to do that. I don't want to be messing it up now. So I'm really loving that. Now I'm thinking for my background that I would colour it and then add a sticker. And did I see home? Sure I did. Yeah. There's one that says home. I'll stick it on the white so it should come off that. I'll trim it down a little bit because I don't want too much border. And I'll put it on there, maybe a little bit of brown around the edges. Don't like anything too perfect. That'll do lovely. Right, so background. What's my background going to be? Oh, I could use flakes, couldn't I? That would look nice. Right, I'm going to find my glue. So I've got my gilding flakes here and I've got my gilding glue. And I'm going to put some glue. Put the glue on to the board. And then smudge it around. Now, as you know, with gilding flake glue, you need to let it dry because it won't work when it's wet. So that's why I'm doing it really thin so I don't have to wait too long. So I've got a thin layer there. Clean my hands because it's really sticky stuff. You have a nightmare of a time with it if you don't. I'll give it a quick. See, unlike other glues, it works when it's dry as opposed to when it's wet. So it's more sticky the drier it gets. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to put my flakes over the top. Oh, see? Even though, oh, I think you're going to have fun with this one as I get messy and all goes a bit wrong. That's the fun of it, isn't it? So I'm using a stiff brush just to brush some of it off. That's looking cool. Oops. Again. Right, let's put the excess away before we have major catastrophe. Oh, floating flakes everywhere now. Right, let's use a softer brush to get this last bit off, otherwise it's going to scratch it all. Right, just make sure I've got the edges clear because I want it to go back into that little piece. Right, now I'm going to try something here. It may not work. Let's give it a go. I'm going to stick the word home down in the middle. Make sure it's well and truly stuck down. Because the next thing I want to do is put some clear embossing powder over the top. Get rid of those little nibbly bits. There we go. Oh well, never mind. Right, okay, so ink pad. Let's cover it and fingers crossed. So we've inked that now. No turning back. Oh, putting lids on pots. Oh, I don't really want to put it on that piece of paper because it's got loads of all different things in it, and it would contaminate my powder. It's a good tip. Try to keep your clear powder as clear as possible, but it can go on there for the drying. Right, now fingers crossed this is going to work. Right, looks like it's working. Thank goodness for that. Let it cool down a bit because I'm going to add a second layer. I better need that, get that other bit of paper, otherwise I'm going to be a pickle. Right, that's looking okay. Is it dry? Well, the finger test is always a bad idea because if it isn't dry, you've just ruined it, but I guess that's me. So, using the same colour, clear. Obviously all other colours will obliterate what's underneath, so it's got to be clear. Let's put that one down again. And heat it. Oh, it's getting there. I think one more layer and it would really just embed that lettering completely in it. But can you see it's kind of made it like enamel? I do love embossing powder. I don't use it enough. Got a bit on the end there. Right, last time. I think 3 layers is probably the level you want to be at. There is a reason it's called triple embossing, and that's the 3 layers. Right, nice. One last chance. Don't mess it up. Oops. Oh, I shouldn't say that to myself, should I? And I really do need to leave it be, but I think that's looking pretty good now. So let's clear the table so it looks quite a little bit tidier than that. Let's put it on the black, it might look better. So that's our heart. Oh, that looks good. And then let's feel the back, still a little bit warm. Let's just make sure there's nothing on the side to stop it going into the recess. And don't want to touch it if it's, but while it's still warm it's a little bit malleable, so you might just get the edges in. Oh, and there we go. There's our little embellishment done with a couple of different types of embossing. But I think you can see we've got some lovely sort of things going on there. So there we go. and thanks for watching.